This is our third video in this unit on measurement. We're going to start by looking at rates. If you're going 30 miles per hour, how many feet per second is that? Well, we're going to use the same method we've used in the past. 30 miles per hour is 30 miles in 1 hour. Often you will write 30 miles per hour like that. The problem with writing it like that, and I think your book might even do that a couple times, it doesn't look like a fraction, okay? The units don't tell you what you need to divide out. So I think it's better to write it like this, because now if I'm going to change to feet, I know that miles has to be on the bottom, feet's going to be on the top. That way, the miles will divide out. And there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Now I have my units of feet, which is what the problem told me I wanted. But right now, if I did this calculation, I have feet per hour. I need to change hours to seconds. So hours has to go on the top. Know that 1 hour is 60 minutes. So the hours divided out. So now I've got feet per minute. I need feet per second. So I know that 1 minute is 60 seconds. So I now have the minutes dividing out, and I'm left with feet per second, which is what the problem told me I wanted to end up with. So I'm going to multiply 30 times 5,280, divide that by 60, and then divide it by 60 again. And once you put that in your calculator, you will come up with, I'll put it up here, 44 feet per second. And you can continue using as many factors as you need until you get the units that you need. And then you just multiply and divide. Another thing I want to show you today is when we're working with area and volume. Area, if you think of some rectangle, when we're finding area, you find out how many units you have going up and how many you have going across. And then what you're actually looking at is how many squares will it take to fill up this rectangle. And this is 1 square unit, 2 square units, and so on. And that's how we measure area. And that's why area is always in units squared, because we're looking at how many squares will fill up whatever area we have. Working with volume, let's say you've got a box and you want to know what the area or the volume of the box is. Well, what you're actually going to do now, instead of just looking at the length and the width, you've got the length, the width, and a height. So you're going to start a box there, and then next to that you're going to put another little box and another little box, each of these boxes being one unit in each direction. So these are little cubes, and once you get the bottom filled up, then you're going to put another layer of cubes here. So this is always in units cubed. Each square's got 2 dimensions. And with a volume, each cube has 3 dimensions. So when you're working with problems, you have to realize that you cannot cancel out square feet or cubic feet the same way that we canceled out regular feet. So let's say that you go to the hardware store with your mask and you look at a can of paint, and the can of paint says on it that one can will cover 5 square yards. This would be in square units because you don't fill a room with paint. You usually just paint the walls. And let's say the room that you have is 8 feet by 10 feet with 8-foot ceilings. That means it's 8 foot high. So that would mean in this room, you've got 4 walls. You usually don't paint the floor and the ceiling, not the same color, not always. This is 8 feet. This is 10 feet. And they're all 8 foot high. That means the front and the back, the way I have it drawn here, you've got 2 walls that are 8 feet by 8 feet, and you've got 2 walls that are 10 feet by 8 feet. Eight times 8 is 64, but we've got 2 of them, so that's 128 square feet. 2 of the walls are 10 by 8. 10 by 8 is 80 times 2 walls is 160 square feet. So you've got 288 square feet. You've got 288 square feet. I know that there's 3 feet in 1 yard. When I do it like this, though, I can only divide out 1 of the feet, and there's 2 here. So I need to multiply by 1 yard over 3 feet again. Now I can divide out all the feet. And this is going to give me yards squared. And when you calculate that, that will give you square yards. Now, we've got 25.8, almost 26 square yards of room that we have to paint. So now that I have square yards, I know that 1 can of paint will cover 5 square yards. So if I divide that by 5, I end up with about 5.17 cans of paint. Which means, unless you've got some windows or doors that you didn't account for, just to be safe and not run out of paint at the last minute, you better buy 6 cans of paint. There was one thing I did want to go over. When I had how many square feet did I have? I had 288, I think. And I showed you, you had to divide or multiply that by 1 yard over 3 feet twice. You could square this. The only thing is, when you put that in the calculator, you better put in 288 divided by 3 squared. Of course, you could probably, hopefully, do that in your head and come up with your dividing by 9, but they're not always going to be that easy to do in your head. So I wanted to show you that. If you have cubic units, you have to do it 3 times to get rid of all of them. Okay, work some problems. If you have questions, send me an email, and have a good day.